Hi, my name is Amanda Escamilla, and today we're going to be making beef fajitas. And we're going to start with some skirt steak, some fresh skirt steak here. Let's see, we've got about 2 pounds here. So what you want to do is take a strip of it, put it in a glass container if you can, or a glass bowl rather, and then we're going to go ahead and start making our marinade. So we're going to start with a third of a cup of pineapple juice. And then we're going to add a third of a cup of fresh squeezed lime juice. Add that into the mix. And then we have 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Pop that right in there. And then we want to make sure to put I'd say about a quarter of a cup of olive oil. So here we go, about a quarter of a cup. Olive oil goes right in. And then we want to add some minced garlic. I'd say about a tablespoon or so. Minced garlic. You want to make sure you add some black pepper. Some salt. And then I'd like to add some red chili powder. Red chili powder is a great spice to use. It really enhances the meat. And I also like to use this nice paprika. So we're going to use about a teaspoon of paprika. The last thing I like to add in here is a little bit of cumin. Cumin, just a bit, about a quarter of a teaspoon. And really the idea with this is to enhance the smoky flavor of the meat because we're going to grill it. So you put all of your spices into your marinade, your liquids. And let's see, we put salt, pepper, yes. And then we want to give it a good twist. Make sure it's nice and sealed. And then just make sure you shake it vigorously. Excellent. You can always taste it to make sure that it has enough salt and pepper or enough spices. You can always add more. Perfect. Just a perfect amount of sweet, salt, and spice. So all you do is just pour it right onto your steak. So the idea around marinating skirt steak is that it really depends. Sometimes people wonder, how long do you marinate such a thing? And it really depends on the thickness of the steak itself. So for this here, it's perfectly fine to marinate this. You can do 3 hours, 4 hours, or you can leave it in your refrigerator overnight. So what I would recommend is to cover it with a piece of plastic or the glass top. So now we have a nice hot grill. Our coals are red hot. We have a skillet that I put this skillet right on the indirect part of the fire of the grill so that it gets nice and hot. But for now, I'm going to move it out of the way. So I'm going to put it right on top of the chimenea and keep it somewhere safe. And so here we have some fajitas, which is the skirt steak already marinated. So what I like to do is just take a piece of this, and we're going to throw it right onto the grill, the direct hot, the fire, right onto the direct fire. Okay. Now, once you've put the skirt steak onto the grill, you want to just leave it there. Leave it there for at least a few minutes. And depending on how hot the grill is, you just want to keep your eye on it. The idea is to get a real nice sear on it, and then to be able to flip it and then sear it on the other side, and then you're going to move it to the side of the grill that doesn't have the direct flames right under it. While this is cooking, I think that a good idea is to go ahead and put the skillet back onto the grill, and then we're going to put a little bit of olive oil. And I like to use a little olive oil and a little bit of canola oil. It's a combined because it really holds up to really high heat. Probably about a tablespoon or so. And always remember to use a pot holder because skillets, as you know, get very hot. So we're just going to flip the skirt steak now. Get a nice sear on this side here. Very good. So while that cooks on one side, we're going to go ahead and add some of the red peppers, green peppers, some of the Spanish onions, and a few chiles that I've cut for the fajitas. And we're going to go ahead and saute these on an iron skillet. So now this is on a hot pan, it's sauteing. And we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to enhance the flavor, it always does. So it looks like these have had a real nice sear on both sides, so I'm going to move it over to the right, where my fire is a little less intense. Perfect. Those need a little more, so I'm going to leave them over here where it's still kind of hot, but not as hot as it is to be on the direct fire. So we're going to let these ride while the peppers cook. Now we have the fajitas. The skirt steak looks like it's nice, pretty close to being cooked. The peppers and onions look like they're beautifully ready, caramelized, nice and seared in the iron skillet. So they're pretty close. This is a great time to put your tortillas down to heat them up so that you can roll them all up in there. And a good thing is to take some skirt steak. It's okay to let it rest for a couple of minutes. But while your tortillas are heating, you can go ahead and take your skirt steak and slice it on the bias, just that way, into small pieces. Make sure you flip your torts. There it is. Beautiful. So this is cooked already. Just toss it back in. So here we do a toss. And together they get all happy. And you can smell all the flavors combining together. And I think the pan is loving it. Look at that. Okay. Just a little more salt and a little more pepper. Couple of peppers and onions. And we're going to go ahead and put some condiments. The works here we have some guacamole. If you'd like to add a little guacamole to your fajita taco, I would recommend it. And then, of course, you can add some pico de gallo. And this is made with chile serranos, which are a little bit hotter than jalapenos. And then, of course, cilantro is always a really nice treat. So I like to add a little bit of that too. And then, of course, it wouldn't be the works without the crema. So here's a little bit of crema or sour cream, whatever you prefer, and then you're ready to go. You want to serve this with a bowl of frijoles a la charra, and all you need is an empty belly.